Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Warning: this video will contain spoilers for the Stephen King Dark Tower series of novels as well as the 2017 The Dark Tower movie. This video may contain discussions and/or images of violence, sexual situations, and drug use. Viewing beyond this point is a choice you have made, and you take responsibility for that choice. Thank you, and please have a nice day.
Hello and welcome to this video. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope the universe is treating you well, and I hope you're in good health and stay in good health, because good health is a good thing to have. Today's video, I want to be talking about both the Stephen King novels in his Dark Tower series and the 2017 movie of the same name that technically is based on the books, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Stephen King's Dark Tower series of books, love them. I read them every 12 to 18 months. In fact, it's getting real close for me to take my next trip to the tower. They're not horror. Those of you that come in to go see these books, you see the name Stephen King, you think Carrie, The Shining, It. But these books aren't it. These books are more sci-fi, fantasy, dystopian, future, past. My nose is itching. It's a lot of it's Stephen King's homage to what inspired Stephen King, because there's a little bit of everything in it. I have seen videos on YouTube where he talks about the series as his attempt at a Lord of the Rings. Evidently he was extremely inspired and extremely influenced by Tolkien. So yeah, there's also, in this series, there's shout outs to Akira Kurosawa, George Lucas, J.K. Rowling. Mind you, these came out, this series books came out before Rowling outed herself as a transphobe. There's shout outs to Heinlein, there's shout outs to Frank Herbert, Philip K. Dick. These are a nice, beautiful, well written series of books. If you're a Stephen King fan, you may not like them. If you're the hardcore Carrie, Shining, It, The Stand type fan, well, The Stand, if you enjoyed The Stand, you'll probably enjoy these. But if you're into the hardcore horror aspect of King's writing, you might not. Because like I said, these are more sci-fi, like I said, sci-fi, fantasy, dystopian, future past They're great books. Stephen King himself shows up in the books as a character. And Stephen King, the writer, does not like Stephen King, the character. You read these books, ooh, Stephen King is like, ow, hard on him. I mean, like, you read it and you got to go to the hospital. He's that hard on himself in the not these novels. So yeah, it is. You've got time travel. You've got dimensional travel. It's great. You have flashbacks within flashbacks within flashbacks that are well written, and they're the things that only Stephen King can make work. That only Stephen King can do. I'm going to show you all. I have different copies, different versions of the. I have all the books, but I picked them up over time. So, what I have, the first one, I'm going to go through all these, and we're going to go through because I want to show off. This is my narcissistic vanity moment. I want to show off. So bear with me or skip ahead. So this is the revised Gunslinger. I love it. This is hardback. I prefer hardbacks. I try to get all my books in hardbacks when I can. This is not the original, but the mass market Gunslinger before they revised it. This is about 100 pages, 80 to 100 pages shorter than this one. What happened is the Gunslinger was originally written as a series of short stories. And when King went into writing more books, he had to go back and connect those, not only connect that to the books that followed it, he had to connect the short stories together. And that's basically what he did in the revised version, is he went through and he started connecting everything. The second book in the series, The Drawing of the Three, this is one of my favorite books in the series. You have to treat, the best way to treat the Gunslinger is an extremely long prologue. If you try, and that makes, if you treat this as a prologue, it makes this book even that much better. Then you have the third book, The Wastelands. This here I picked up on, I have another copy of this, but this is my pride and joy. This is a library hardback of a hardback of paper hardback. It's a hardback version in paperback size. My eyes have gotten to the point that this is extremely hard for me to read because it's got teeny tiny print. So I have a trade paperback version, but this one here is my pride and joy because it is outside of libraries and stuff. It is hard to find your hardbacks that are paperback size. The next book. This is the one a lot of fans either love or hate. It's Wizard and Glass. This is a really good story. This is Roland's backstory in a nutshell, or a great big huge nutshell, because this baby is a honker. I mean, it is like it thickness. I mean, it is a honker. This will rip your heart. If you have any kind of empathy in your body for anything, there are parts of this story that will rip your heart to pieces. Like I said, this is one of the books in that series that people either hate or love. The next book is Wind Through the Keyhole. This one was actually written after all the original books came out. This was a story King had bumping around in his brain. I've read some things. I've never come across anything from King himself, but I've read things from his publisher, PR people and stuff like that, that this was actually originally not this story as it appears, but elements of the story were originally part of Wizarding Glass, but the publisher made King, because of the size of it, cut it. So he took those elements, wove them into a story, and this was published. Like I said, this was actually written and published after all the other books had come out. It's kind of a filler between Wizarding Glass and Wolves of Kala. This is a good book because it lets you slow down, catch your breath, because in Wizarding Glass, it is crazy. It is crazy. This, like I said, lets you slow down, catch your breath. It's a little bit easier. Then we jump into Wolves of Kala. Love this one. This one and the next one, Song of Susanna. Let Susanna Dean shine. She's the character. I may come and do a breakdown book by book series of videos. I don't know yet. But Susanna Dean is probably my favorite character of our group of protagonists. And this here is a library version, a library hardback of Song of Susanna. I paid less than $1 for it. Our local library was being privatized, and they were getting rid of all the stuff they deemed inappropriate. And this was one of the books they deemed inappropriate. And I picked this up for less than $1. So yeah, this is a steal. I like this one. And the last book, this is another heartbreaker. This is also another chonker. This is Stephen King. And like I said, this book is a chunker. I got this used off eBay. $6-7, I think. So yeah. Yeah, those are the books. And they try to condense all of that I just showed you into basically a movie that comes in just under 2 hours. They didn't do a good job. The movie is an interpretation of these books. If you approach the movie that way, that movie deserves all the hate that it gets and more. But if you're able to divorce the movie from the books, just look at it as a retro 80s dystopian action adventure, future past fantasy movie, and it's actually pretty damn good. It hits all the right pew pew moments, the boom boom moments. The hero's journey. It kind of follows the hero's journey a little bit with the character of Jake Chambers. Idris Elba plays the main character of Roland, Deshane. Matthew McConaughey plays Walter, the antagonist. And I need to clarify something for you. Texans, there's something in our DNA that requires us to like Matthew McConaughey movies. Anything with him in it, we have to like. It's in our DNA. So yeah, if you know somebody in Texas that doesn't like Matthew McConaughey movies, they're not a Texan. They're an import. So yeah, true Texans. That's just part of our DNA structure. It cherry picks a lot of the really cool kick-ass scenes in the books. It kind of cherry picks them, then tries to wrap a story around the scenes. They picked the scenes they wanted, then they tried to make a movie. Unfortunately, as well written and as well put together as this series of novels are, you can't do it, because it just Stephen King. Everything has a reason, has a purpose, has a necessity. Even the filler and fluff in his stories have purpose, have a reason for being. It's just hard to put in words. Now the scenes, stuff they picked, great scenes, done real well. Like I said, they get all the pew pew, boom boom, bang bang, love love, they hit all the right points for an 80s movie, for an 80s action adventure movie. If this movie would have came out in the 80s and would have been made by someone like James Cameron, it would be up there like Terminator. Hell, even the people that made this one, made it, the director, everybody, it would be up there with Terminator. The Terminator movies. But like I said, if you try to connect it, if anything close to the source material, like I said, it deserves all the hate that it gets and then some. I have a copy of it. I watch it every now and again. But like I said, there's that, I have to make that conscious detachment from it. And if you like just good action movies and you haven't read the books, yeah, I would recommend it. If you haven't read these books, go watch it, have fun, enjoy it. It's a good popcorn and soda movie. And yeah, it's that. And if you have read the books, I would recommend it if you have the ability to detach it from the books. And it's really good. There is a bit of writing in the novels, and they kind of do a good job with it. They don't do a bad job with it, and that is the gunslinger's credo. And that credo to me is on par with Frank Herbert's creation of the Bene Gesserit litany against fear in the Dune novels. This credo or litany or motto, I guess. I mean, all those fit for both of them, and it is well written. Hopefully, I'm smart enough to put a graphic of both the Bene Gesserit litany against fear and the gunslinger litany. the Gunslinger Litany is on par as writing skills Frank Herbert's Bene Gesserit Litany against fear. It is one of those things where you read it and you're like, yeah, that makes sense. And it's moving. Like I said, in this particular movie, they don't do a bad job with it. They could have done better. Yeah, it's like I said, it's interesting. And what I'm waiting on is, I believe it's Mike Flanagan, who's done some interpretations of some very good interpretations of Stephen King novels into film, is doing a series of movies, and I believe a mini-series that goes hand in hand with the movies, kind of like Matt Reeves is doing with the Batman and the Penguin series. In fact, I think Matt Reeves may be testing it out for Flanagan. But I'm looking forward to that because Flanagan has done some damn good interpretations of Stephen King's work. It's made him and King a bunch of money. So we'll see how that is. And like I said, I may or may not come back and do a breakdown of the individual novels, because the first couple novels, Gunslinger, The Drawing of the Three, Wastelands, make fairly short videos. But once you start getting into Wizard and Glass, that might be a 1 or 2 or 3 part video. Same with Wolves of Kala, Song of Susanna, and The Dark Tower. Wind Through the Keyhole, you could probably get away with 1 video on that. It's just the bigger books, Wizard and Glass, Wolves of Kala, Song of Susanna, and The Dark Tower are just so meaty. They're such a feast for the mind. They're just, it's great. So, like I said, that's kind of my looking at the Dark Tower series, both the novels and the 2017 movie. And as always, be a good human, be good to other humans. Peace.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?